Okay, so here we are. This is the LinkedIn Lead Generation Masterclass. And for those of you who are tuning in on LinkedIn, I'm your host, Alex Smith. Welcome. Also, this is going out live to YouTube as well. So great to have you with us. Today, we've got plenty of learning to be done, a bit of reflection, and hopefully some transformation when it comes to your business. So open your minds, open your hearts. We've got a journey ahead of us. This is a 13-week program. So excited to present to you what I've been working on over the last few weeks and months. Here's a bit of an overview. Obviously, over the next 13 weeks, starting now, we're going to move through a complete series, and we're aiming this series to kind of unlock your B2B potential. That's what we titled it. It's all about B2B. Our focus is on supporting B2B coaches and consultants ultimately. And each session will run for around about 45 minutes. And they've been crafted to address some of the key aspects of B2B success. Week one, we're going to be doing Unleashing Your B2B Potential, the blueprint to success. It's kind of like setting the stage for your business, really. So for those who are not maybe early stages, thinking about becoming a B2B space consultant or coach, then this hopefully is going to be really helpful for you. Much of the focus is around lead generation. Lead generation. Without leads in a business, you've got no sales. So you need to start generating leads, and that's what Leadeth is all about. So we're an agency that exists to kind of support small business owners in strategies. But delighted that you're with us on this lead generation masterclass. Here we go. This is week one. So who am I, and why should I be rabbiting on for the next few minutes? About LinkedIn and lead generation and all this sort of stuff. So I've actually got a proven record of scaling businesses from absolutely nothing. I started businesses at a very young age when I was at school. Some flopped, some continued, some borderline legal, all sorts of different businesses that I've been running over the years. And I'm the founder of Leadeth. Leadeth is ultimately it's a bit like a hybrid agency. We exist to support small business owners with a software tool that's going to help them to navigate through the complexities of B2B growth. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the session today. Good to see you with us. So today's focus is very much about unleashing your B2B potential. It's a blueprint for success. So this masterclass is all about laying the foundations of your business strategy, refining your unique value, and setting goals that are going to, get you motivated and get you working towards the next step. I love to moment in the stillness, the quiet, and let's ponder on our purpose and the vision we hold for our business. This is a time for clarity, insight, a time to align with our actions. This is a quote from the Bible. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare, not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." And that was taken from the book of Jeremiah. And it just really lifts me up when I reflect on that verse that, there is a bigger purpose to what we're doing. So a question that might come out of that, have a reflection on this. What is the vision for your business that you believe aligns with the plans for prosperity and hope? So it's a huge thing to be thinking about, but that's why it's right here at the start end, before we get in too deep with the nuts and bolts of how we can build businesses and grow businesses. We need to have a clear vision. The vision for Leadeth has been deeply intertwined with that promise of Jeremiah, where hope and prosperity are not just goals, but they're actually divine assurance for us. For Leadeth, that means for me, I've got to create a space where B2B coaches and consultants can come, not only to find tools and strategies to grow their businesses, but also a community that's going to nurture their aspirations and their values. So our ambition is to transform Leadeth into this beacon of for those that are not just seeking professional success, but also this balance between their business ambitions and a spiritual well-being as well. So we aim to guide our clients towards achieving these tangible outcomes, like super duper enhanced visibility on LinkedIn. That's an important factor of what we're doing. Consistent lead generation. So many businesses that's their downfall. They just haven't got a consistent approach with what they're doing in terms of lead generation. And I believe I've created and found this amazing solution, which I want to share with you today. So back to the journey. We're all about kind of B2B potential. What is your potential? This is the blueprint to success. Just wanted to plug the school community. So I've been, for the last year, I've developed a bit of a place where people can come together. It's not just about listening to these masterclasses and engaging with masterclasses, but it's very much about being a part of it, engaging, questioning, connecting with others that are going through this whole process like yourself. And the school community creates us this place, safe place where we can share insights, we can ask questions, and we can start to foster this vibrant community of learners and fellow business people. But ultimately, today's section, we're going to look at go right back to the basics before you've even kind of thinking about the business, really, right the way back to the start here. Identifying your niche. So when we talk about a niche, it's so vital to have a real good quality focus on your marketing efforts. And also, with that focus, your resources are going to be directed to a specific audience, and that's going to really increase your effectiveness. So it helps us to create once we know who that identified niche is, it really helps us to tailor our message and helps us to speak directly to those concerns of our target market, and that is going to help us to kind of boost our overall conversion rate. If we're just going with that general approach, with a megaphone to thousands of people, it's just not gonna do the job. So another way of looking at this is like you've got a broad appeal and then you've got a narrow appeal up on the right hand side. Companies that tend to go for like that broader appeal approach, their offering tends to be much lower value. Okay. Whereas on the narrow appeal side, we're seeing much higher value. And this is kind of from what I've been learning around and research and looking at other people's business models and different marketing approaches is how I've kind of come up with this. So think about, this journey. We've got an influencer on the broad appeal. So people who are just going out to the masses, that's what I call the influencer. Towards the middle or just off to the right-hand side there is where we would position maybe experts. And then right the way up that top end is where we've got that niche bit. And that's what we're talking about, niche going in for the fewer people, but the more higher value. Another way of looking at this is maybe if I was to become an accountant, say, and I was going out to, just any business, that would position me on a broad appeal. I'm just an accountant. Whereas if I was maybe an expert accountant, I might say I'm an expert accountant with startups or new businesses. That might then position me in the expert role. So when I'm sending my marketing out there, I could say, hey, I'm an accountant and I specialize in new businesses. Obviously, that's a bit more refined, and those new businesses are going to trust me because I've got that expert knowledge and experience of dealing with smaller businesses. And then right up there on the niche end is when we start to think about different industries. So it could be, right, I'm an accountant specializing with the Xero software for tech startups. So super duper hyper niche, approach. And then obviously my targeting, I know who I'm going for. I'm going for those new businesses that are utilizing maybe the Xero platform, a specific platform. That's where I can go in and really make some big traction. And we'll come to kind of doing some, how do we ensure that our passion meets that market need? It's quite important. So if we've identified that niche, we've got to assess our skills and knowledge, and that begins by listing down areas of expertise and skills that you've got. So get down pen and paper, put it on there, and which aspects of our business or industry are we most passionate about? Think about that. Is it strategic development side of the business? Maybe it's the technical implementation side, or it could be the people management, So your niche needs to feel as natural as it is, exciting to you. Think about using other things like Myers-Briggs. Myers-Briggs is a fantastic tool that analyzes personality types and things like that. It's going to be a really good tool for you to just kind of help you to think, yeah, this is a really good way I can leverage my skill set to the maximum. And that tool will shape your personality. It helps you to understand what kind of personality type you are. And when you start to push that information to something like ChatGPT, which is a language model, it comes out with some really good answers and good suggestions. And if you can say, these are my skill sets and this is my sort of character, it will actually say, maybe you're not the right person for this thing. Maybe you should try something like this. So it can really help you. Think about researching market gaps. So once you've got a clear idea of your strengths now, it's time to look outward. What are the pain points of other businesses in your sector? You can use tools like surveys, industry reports, or even maybe interviews that will help you to kind of gather information and look for some sort of patterns and themes in the data that you collect. And these indicators are kind of going to help you to identify and understand where your services are most needed. So recently I used one called SurveyMonkey. It's a free tool. It allows up to 25 free responses on the free tool. And it's actually generated through AI. So basically I put a message out there. I'm looking to create this new flagship program for B2B coaches and consultants. I want to understand their pain points and their challenges. And they created 10 questions that were very pertinent to that specific industry sector. And the beauty was, I could then build this whole 13-week cycle and course around that content. So most of this stuff is all kind of gathered from research from people in the B2B sector, what they're saying in terms of their challenges. And hopefully that this 13 weeks is going to start to really address a lot of those challenges that came up on that survey. We need to be evaluating the competition, something I've not done yet, not very well, but we need to understand, who are competitors in your space and what are they currently offering. Look out for that differentiation. Think about the services that they're offering. Things that are maybe not underserved or even not uncovered well by the competitors, and the gap, is going to be there, and that's where your niche might just be hiding. So let's combine all those different insights into those three areas, looking for intersections where your greatest strengths will meet your most pressing market need and where the competition is a lot less intense. That intersection is going to be where your niche likely exists. So imagine the classic three circles, and they all kind of overlap, and that pinpoint place where they all three overlap, there's kind of like a lens that's heightened. That's where you need to be focusing your efforts. So yeah, thirdly, just evaluate the competition. So assess your skills and knowledge, research market gaps, and evaluate any competitions. That is probably what I would say is quite key. And a lot of people overlook a lot of those elements in starting out. We also need to, before we commit to any kind of marketing offering or any new business project, we need to validate our findings, and this is quite key. So even if you've not got one customer yet, there's lots of ways you can do this. And one of the key ways that a lot of people can kind of validate this niche is by running what we call pilot services, or you could become a beta client, often it's referred to. And this is where you offer your services to a very small group, identified within that niche earlier, and we can just start to see how well it's been received. And these kind of feedback loops that we can then implement, you're going to collect and analyze feedback from these pilots, from these beta guinea pigs, these beta testers. We'll understand kind of what's working well, what's not. And that information is really going to help us to super duper refine our niche. So you need to position yourself as the go-to expert. Yeah. So once we've confirmed that niche, it's all about positioning, develop and share really good high quality content that's going to address specific issues that you've identified, those gaps. We're going to think about how we can speak in the industry events, maybe host webinars, engage actively on professional networks like LinkedIn. All these different actions are really going to help you to build your authority, establish yourself as a go-to expert in your field. And remember, this whole kind of process of identifying your niche is very much an iterative process. It's going to evolve as you grow your business and as market demands shift. So we need to kind of have that flexibility and keep our fingers on the pulse of the market. So all that is basically understanding your niche and how to identify your niche. Once you've got that niche, we can then really start to do some clever work here. And this is what I call crafting your unique value proposition, or your UVP. Some people call it a UPS, unique selling proposition. Once you know your niche, this is the next step to define what sets you apart from anyone else. And your UVP, it's going to be what makes your service or product irresistible to potential clients. And obviously in a B2B space, in terms of coaching and consultants, there's so many people out there offering it. Some bigger established firms with loads of branding and marketing and frameworks and models and testimonials, galore. How are you going to compete against these people? So the benefits of your services, we need to communicate that really clearly, what those unique benefits are. And that can then be tailored to those needs and challenges of your target audience that we identified earlier, and ensuring that they can understand why they should choose you over competitors. So if we can communicate that clearly, it makes the sales process so much easier. So what makes up a strong, unique value proposition? Well, I think there's four main key parts that kind of make up that strong UVP. I would say clarity is key. So clarity is all about being clear. So you can be understandable, avoiding silly jargon words that are just going to confuse, or you don't want to annoy and alienate all these potential clients. So clarity is key. And obviously, if you're applying a lot of this to ChatGPT, these are going to be the keywords that you're going to be putting in your prompt. Come out with a one-liner for this business model that describes the unique value proposition, and then use clarity would be one of the ones that I would want to keep there. Specificity, that's a horrible word, isn't it? Specificity, how specific? We've got to be precise about the benefits that we offer and how those benefits will address the client needs. So think about, benefits and features and things. People talk about benefits and features quite a lot. How do those benefits, address your client's needs? We need to say, it features a smart inbox. How does a smart inbox help your client? The reason smart inbox helps your clients is this. It helps you to sort out and prioritize the most important, prospects. That's why this feature is good. Other people don't have that. So you need to spell it out to people. Think about the uniqueness, highlight what sets your offering apart from other competitors. I mean, this could be your methodology behind what you do. It could be your experience. It could be special skills, or even a unique process maybe, or a tool that you use. Other clients probably don't, other businesses and competitors probably don't have this. So you need to kind of shout about this and really make sure it's clear. Be specific about it as well. Think about the fourth element here is a component of a strong UVP is going to be your appeal. Now, it needs to be compelling. So what you're doing needs to be compelling, and it needs to resonate emotionally with your target audience. And I've spoken in previous lead generation masterclasses about the Donald Miller book, Building a Story Brand, which it taps into all the emotional stuff. I mean, personally, I'm not a hugely emotional person. I'm pretty black and white. I don't do feelings. So this is a hard thing for me to get my head around. But ultimately, we've got to think, how are they feeling about having this problem? And if you can address that and go straight to the feelings, then that often really helps tap into what they value most. So what are the steps in terms of creating this UVP? we need to identify those client pain points, understand what the specific problems or needs are of your, or what your target market are currently facing. Think about what that is, what it looks like. We need to link those benefits to pain points, articulate how your services that you provide solutions to those different pain points, and kind of link the two together. We need to communicate differentiators. So clearly state, what makes these solutions unique compared to what makes them, what's already out there in the market. So we need to communicate those differentiators really clearly. And then fourthly, think about testing and refining. Obviously, as I say, this is a process that changes over time. We need to use feedback from those initial beta testers or whoever it might be, and performance data in terms of the results you're getting. And we need to refine this UVP, using that data to ensure it's going to continue to resonate well with your target audience and future target audience. Think about integrating your UVP in all your marketing. Some of the common mistakes that I see, a lot of people are just too vague. They tend to avoid. We need to learn to avoid those generic statements that are going to apply to any company in your industry. Those usual. What's the classic one? There's some classic ones out there, which people have used over and over again, and it's like, oh, yeah. I think about buildings and tradespeople, free quotes, and one old lady driver and stuff like this. Different selling things, but a lot of people can, use these kind of lingo words. So think about avoiding those and being a bit more specific. Over-promising, we've got to ensure that our UVP is actually realistic and we can deliver. We've got to deliver. Over-promising is going to certainly damage your credibility. So we want to kind of like undersell, but over-deliver. Yeah. So when the client is actually experiencing the service, we want to blow their minds. We want to kind of oversell to them and really go all out, especially with these beta testers. If we can just say, yeah, come along as a beta tester, this is what we can expect, just keep it simple, but then actually wow them and over deliver with them. And I think they'll be really impressed. So a unique value proposition often can lack focus. So think about how you can, appeal to everyone, whereas often, we don't want to appeal to everyone. We need to just resonate with the one. So it's all about niching down. Yeah, try not to appeal to that broad audience, as we looked at earlier on the diagram, but actually go for that niche, go for the simple message that's going to resonate with just that one or two. So keep it focused, really focused on your primary target audience. Finally, we've got to set simple, actionable goals. The final step in, this week's masterclass is all about setting clear, measurable, and achievable goals. And you may have come across this before. If it's the first time, it should be something that will stick. It's very easy to remember this anagram, SMART. So the goals are not only to aim to expand your business, but also we've got to make sure they align with your personal and values and also your long-term vision. So let's discuss how to break down your main objectives into actionable steps, allowing for continual progress, monitoring and just adjusting and keeping you on the path towards sustainable growth. So the importance of goal setting. So I would say purpose and direction, explain, like setting goals, it needs to be a roadmap for where you want your business to go. So having maybe a daily task, obviously is going to add a bit more meaning and focus. So think about, what that main one big goal is. That's going to help you to really have a new set of motivation. Having those goals, we've got something to strive for. Those goals are going to help us. They're going to motivate us and push us through the challenges that get in our way and just help us to keep progressing. But we need to measure that success. And often when you use goals, goals act as a benchmark for that success, allowing you to kind of measure the progress and see the tangible outcomes of your efforts. So what are SMART goals? SMART are quite simply being specific. So each goal that you set, just make sure it's specific. And we don't want to avoid any confusion about what we're trying to achieve here. So be specific and clear on that firstly. Measurable. So how can we make a goal measurable? So we need to be able to track progress and know when we've achieved our goal. So if your goal is to XYZ, make sure you add in, it's to XYZ by next week or whatever. Put a time bound thing. That's what the T is. But how can we measure that goal? So it's got to be measurable. It can't just be a thing that we can't measure. Achievable. Is it realistic? How can we? It's got to be something that we can actually attain. That prevents that discouragement. If it's just a ridiculous goal that's just made up, we're never going to be able to achieve it. So make sure the goal is achievable. Realistically, can I achieve this? So have a think. Is it something I can achieve? Relevant. Yeah. So does the goal align with the broader business strategies and personal values? And and how does it contribute towards that long-term success? So make sure the goal is relevant to those overarching vision stuff and statements that we came up with when we looked at the target audience and niching down. T, time bound. So I picked on this earlier. Specify a deadline, and that's going to create a sense of urgency and prompt you into action. If you set those deadlines, set a due date on those tasks, and that will really help. So further to kind of the SMART analogy there, when you're setting those goals, think about the long-term vision. Start with the end in mind. Where do you want to be? Break it all down. Decompose that larger goal into smaller, manageable milestones. Little bite-sized chunks are really going to help you to make the process less daunting and also easier for you to manage that whole process. So not all goals are created equal. Prioritize your goals based on the impact and relevance of that overall vision. That's quite key. Action plans. Develop clear action plans for each goal. What steps will you take to achieve this goal? And this is something I learned years ago when I did coaching with Action Coach. They hammered on to these SMART goals, and my coach would talk to me about these action plans. What are those little steps that you need to put in place to get this done? Who is responsible for each task? And if you've got to delegate it out, you've got to be clear, really clear. And monitor and adjust. So regularly, we need to be reviewing these goals and the progress, and be prepared to make adjustments as needed. We've got to be prepared to respond to challenges in the business environment, or maybe adapt to any new opportunities. Obviously, recently we've had the likes of COVID-19 and things like that, and that just meant huge amounts of resilience for businesses where they had to adjust what they were doing and do different things. We had a business that produced printed stickers and signage, and that COVID year, we probably produced, I would say, probably about 2 years, 3 years worth of new products in the space of 1 month. And we saw huge success that year, not just because the increased demand, because we were just selling the same stuff, the same prices, but just obviously the demand went up, but being innovative and bringing out all those extra new products which previously didn't exist. So got to be innovative. Think about what's going on in the climate around us. So that kind of concludes my my short presentation on today on the blueprint for B2B success. It just sets the framework, sets the background, sets the story for kind of where we're heading. So we've got another session coming up next week, and that will take us on to session 2. We're going to look at decision maker dynamics, how to open closed doors. And we're going to start to dive into some of the technical aspects of, what do we need to be doing to kind of get conversations started in a B2B space. And I'm going to show you some tools which I've used to successfully do that. Probably the only kind of two main go-to tools for me in terms of generating new business are referrals. Referrals is fantastic. If you can build out a referral program as well, that's going to really supercharge what you do. But the second biggest place I've generated business from is actually from LinkedIn. So we're going to dive more into that next week in terms of what we're doing on LinkedIn, the overall kind of way of generating business. We've actually got an automated software tool that we use to generate new clients on LinkedIn. And it's a fantastic tool. It just works in the background, so you can focus on building out the business, or if you prefer the client-facing work, you can deliver what you do with clients. So yeah, really excited about all the different things we're going to be looking at and talking about. We've got, from contacts to contracts, looking at the lead conversion formula. We've got time mastery, unlocking your productivity, marketing mastery, campaigns that connect, the science of sales, keep selling without selling out, and the client retention code, keeping your golden geese. All these great things that are going to help you to kind of build a much stronger business, and underpinned by the wisdom of the Bible. We have a different key Bible verse each week, and that is how we kind of guide our journey. So I'll leave you with the verse again from today. I'll just share this one with you. It was here, so it's share screen. There we go. So this was the verse which we picked up on earlier. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare, not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. You know, if that doesn't encourage you, that there's some bigger, greater power out there who can, you know, make your life in a human, like, so much different, then, you know, I don't know what will, because there's not a lot of hope out there in this day and age with so much war and corruption and all sorts of other stuff going on. So I'm thankful that that I know the Lord. I know Jesus in my life as my personal savior, and you know that's going to transform me, and that acts as part of my unique value proposition. And when we come together in prayer, I believe that God can kind of unlock things for you and your business as well. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to catch up. There's lots of ways you can do that. Obviously, I mentioned the school community earlier. School.com/Leadeth. That's a free network that you can join. I'll be there, hanging out there. Also, if you want a one-to-one, would welcome a one-to-one to chat around maybe LinkedIn lead generation strategies. I'll share a link in the chat below, but it's basically leadeth.io/ well, where do we go after that? We go to / discovery. So they're the discovery sessions, which you can also join with my colleague Bush. Bush takes you through on a kind of 45-minute view of kind of marketing, your business, and what you can do with your business in terms of how you can start to leverage LinkedIn automation. But thanks for joining me today. This is the end of the session now, and looking forward to joining. Come along again next week if you enjoyed this.